Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into something incredibly chilling, that intense Hindi monologue from the highly anticipated Avengers Doomsday trailer. It's an absolute masterclass in building dread and setting up completely impossible stakes. We're going to break down exactly how these specific words are used to paint a picture of inescapable destruction. We'll look at the tactical shifts, the emotional manipulation, and just the sheer gravity of what we're being told. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Something is about to happen, something that is impossible to stop. Wow. The speaker doesn't even try to ease us into the threat, right? They just drop this massive, immovable boulder right in front of us. There's zero sugarcoating, no false hope. Throwing the word impossible at us right out of the gate is such a deliberate move to instantly create an atmosphere of total helplessness. It completely strips away that usual heroic optimism we're so used to seeing. You aren't being asked to gear up and win, you're being flat out told that the disaster is already in motion.
Which brings us to our first core theme, a terrifying warning and the ticking clock.
The precise parameter set here is just chilling. Before the sun sets today, talk about a literal and metaphorical ticking clock. It evokes this intense imagery of approaching darkness, the end of the light, the end of hope. This unimaginable decision absolutely has to be made today, before nightfall. There's no time to form committees, no time to draft up elaborate battle plans, and definitely no time to argue. The deadline is absolute, and it is breathing right down their necks. Next up, let's look at the martyrdom of past warriors, the weight of the fallen. And this brilliantly illustrates a truly horrific paradox. On one hand, you have the immense, godlike power of past allies. They were so powerful. But the brutal, unceremonious reality? They were killed. The speaker is actively, almost ruthlessly dismantling the current team's ego here. It's a massive reality check. They're basically saying, oh, you think you're strong? I've fought beside beings whose strength completely dwarfed yours, and they were still wiped out. It perfectly highlights just how absolutely futile it is to rely purely on physical might against what's coming. Let's break down exactly what we learned about these fallen heroes, because it's pretty staggering. First, these weren't random soldiers. They fought alongside the speaker in past wars. That means the speaker has firsthand, veteran knowledge of exactly what they could do. Second, and honestly, this is the terrifying part, they were more powerful than the current team combined. Think about that for a second. Take all the strength you have right now, multiply it, and it still falls short of the warriors who are already dead. And third, they died facing incredibly dangerous enemies. You can feel the tension building here. The speaker is essentially proving mathematically that raw strength alone, it's just not going to cut it anymore. Moving right along to fear of the greatest enemy, unprecedented terror. So compare the fear of those past dangerous enemies, the ones who literally killed the most powerful beings in the universe, against the absolute terror of this current threat. The speaker actually admits they weren't as scared of those past enemies as they are of this new one. You really have to stop and ask yourself, how terrifying must an enemy be to make a hardened veteran warrior, someone who has literally watched gods fall in battle, openly admit that they have never, ever been this scared before? It is just a brilliant masterstroke in hyping up a villain before they even step onto the battlefield. And then, the emotional stakes peak with one devastating realization. Their sacrifice will be wasted. If the current team doesn't unite and fight, it's not just their own lives on the line. Failing now means entirely erasing the legacy of every single hero who died before them. The blood of the past is suddenly on the hands of the present. It's this incredible guilt trip totally designed to force action, cementing the idea that giving up isn't just losing, it's a profound betrayal of the fallen. That leads us directly into mutual differences and unity, the ultimate ultimatum. So, the crucial point is, the speaker lays down 3 absolutely non-negotiable steps. Step 1, stop your mutual bickering. There is literally no room for ego anymore. Step 2, fight together. The raw power of the fallen wasn't enough, so the only tactical advantage left is perfect, seamless unity. And step 3, return as a family. Now this is fascinating. The speaker isn't just asking them to be allies on a battlefield. They're demanding a profound, unbreakable emotional bond. If you don't fight as a family, you die. Unity is no longer just a nice, feel-good sentiment. It is the literal armor they have to put on right now. Finally, we arrive at hope for a miracle beyond strategy.
Because right now, survival hinges entirely on a miracle. The speaker flat out states that returning alive is only possible if an intervention that completely defies logic happens. It's a dramatic, yet utterly devastating admission that conventional options are completely exhausted. Bullets won't work, superpowers won't work, basic teamwork won't work. They're standing right on the edge of the abyss, and their only strategy left is to just hope for the impossible. Which brings us to the crushing closing realization of the text: this is impossible. Look at the absolute despair in those words. The speaker has spent this entire time demanding they become a family and practically begging for a miracle, while simultaneously acknowledging the bleak, horrifying truth of their reality. They're walking into a slaughter, fully aware that the math simply does not add up in their favor. It's a stunning display of vulnerability and sheer hopelessness from someone stepping into war. So, as we wrap up this explainer, it leaves us with the ultimate lingering question. Will a miracle happen, or is it truly impossible? The source material leaves us hanging right on the precipice of this unanswerable mystery. And really, the brilliance of this monologue is that it makes us, the audience, genuinely doubt our heroes. It forces us to wonder if, this time, the ticking clock is actually going to run out. The legacy of the fallen will be erased, and the sun will finally set on them for good. Keep thinking on that one. And until next time, keep analyzing and keep questioning.